Hey, Bill Shaka here. Welcome to another edition of Crush Your Company's Quota. What I would like to talk about today, sales managers, sales directors, chief marketing officers, chief revenue officers, etc., is coaching your salespeople for incremental success, daily efforts. You know, salespeople tend to be overly enthusiastic. And sales managers who have cut their teeth in sales, and most of you have, are overly enthusiastic. We tend to always look at the good side. We tend to always look at the positives and the what ifs. And that's good. However, we need to be careful when it comes to developing our own level of personal development. We have to make sure that we have a realistic plan. Now, I'm not trying to temper your enthusiasm. Understand that. I'll give it to you mathematically. Percentages are basically two decimal points. 0.01 is 1%, 0.02 is 2%, all the way up to 0.98, which is 98%, and 0.99, which is 99%. 1.00 is 100%. Now, if you want to make daily incremental changes to yourself, if I take 100%, which is what I would expect your salespeople to be producing on a daily basis, so that's what I would expect the sales managers to be doing on a daily basis. But if I take that 100% and I raise it to the 365th power, do you know what I get with 1.00 raised to 365? I get 1. I get 100%. This is not a bad thing. This is actually a very good thing. We are continuously exhibiting 100% effort. But I want you to think about this in terms of incremental increases. What if I took that 1.00 and I changed it to 1.01? In other words, instead of 100%, I made it 101%. Small, almost imperceptible change. And if I took that 1.01 and I raised it to the 365th power, do you know what I have? I don't have 100%. I have 3,770%. That 1.01 raised to the 365th power becomes 37.7. The end result is remarkable. And this is the mathematical point that I would like to make in terms of small, imperceptible changes. Our job as sales executives, as sales managers and sales leaders, is not to get our salespeople to go from 1 to 37.7 in a day. That's impossible. A person can't take that psychological, the stress of that psychological infrastructure would collapse them. But the small changes, the daily changes, the imperceptible changes, that's what makes the difference. I've done this with salespeople that are in the cold calling profession. They had to make X amount of phone calls every day. Their sales management wanted them to get up to 100 phone calls a day. Their average was 45. They called me in and they wanted me to get them up to 100 phone calls. And I said, that's not a problem. How much time are you going to give me? If you give me a month and a half to get them from 45 to 100, that's possible. If you give me a week to get them from 45 to 100, that's not likely. If you give me a day, that's impossible. It takes a little time. It's the same thing with waking up earlier. This is a tried and true formula that I've used for years. If you get up at 6 o'clock and you want to get up at 5 o'clock, set your alarm for 5:59. Let that work for a day or two until you become acclimated to it. Then set it for 5:58. Then set it for 5:57. How long is it going to take you to go from 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock? It may take you 2 months. It may take you a month. It may take you 2 weeks. But it's not going to be an overnight thing where you wake up fatigued. Incremental changes. 1.00 to the 365th power is 100%. 1.01 to the 365th power is 37.7. Coach your salespeople into small incremental changes. And by the way, sales managers, coach yourself in that same process. What you will find is change that solidifies into habit. Those habits are what bring about unprecedented levels of success in our life, in the life of our families, the life of our salespeople. That is true and lasting success. Bill Shaka thanking you for attending and listening and watching another edition of Crush Your Company Quota. Now let's go out there and sell something. Bye.